How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Today we are going over a video by Beckman as requested. This video is called Relentless Nonstop Barking, Improving Reactivity in an Unsocialized Australian Shepherd. This looks more like an American Shepherd because of the size of it, unless it's just a puppy. I say American Shepherd because there's, people will call them the mini Australian Shepherd, which is really just the American Shepherd. There's no mini Australian Shepherd. But either way, it doesn't matter. It's a cute little dog.
In this video, you're going to see me do a lot of things you've never seen me do before. This
So
dog's
very,
gonna
very,
get
very
put on his
fearful.
side. This dog is going to be
Oh,
pulled
lovely.
into me on a leash to help him get over
So he's telling you right now, everything he's going to do is he's doing wrong. Everything you should not do to a dog is what he's explaining.
his fear. We're going to go big in this video because that is the only way to help something this
Prince, she doesn't
severe.
want to play. Leave her alone.
This is a go big or go home teaching video. This dog has giant problems. Barking at people, barking at dogs,
Very nervous.
overstimulated,
Yeah?
freaking out at everything, scared of people, scared of dogs, prey drive, wanting to chase dogs, wanting to heal people. Big problems, and you're just going to hear this dog. I had to turn the audio down because you're going to hear this dog bark for an hour. If I did an hour video, I cut it down, obviously. He barks the whole time. And it's not these people's fault, okay? People get blamed for every problem their dogs have.
Okay, so I'm going to stop him there and say this, that it is the owner's fault. Now, when I say that, I accept my own responsibility for the mistakes that I've made or unknowingly made. I'm not saying that to make these people seem like they are bad people or that they're terrible owners. But if this dog is in their care, they have inevitably taught it to be fearful by under-socializing it, fearful by over-socializing it and flooding it. They've taught this dog to bark and be barky and be very nervous. So it's the owner's doing. If this dog came to them as a puppy or if it came to them as an adult or an adolescent, then it was the previous owner's. This dog would be the result of the previous owner's behavior or lack thereof, or socialization or teaching them of that. But we need to be able to hold people accountable and say, hey, look, you taught this dog some behavior that you now don't like or you never liked, but you've taught this behavior. So you need to be able to change what you do when you're interacting with the dog to change this behavior. The dog is not the one that needs to be held accountable. The dog is not born just barking at people. The dog is showing very, very fearful behavior, very, very shy. It could just be a natural tendency of this dog. Australian Shepherds in general. It could be inbred. Who knows? To make it this size, again, he says Australian Shepherd. I think it's more like an American Shepherd because of the size. But regardless, we don't know what this dog's history is. We don't know if the dog came to them as a puppy, and if it was a puppy and it was always fearful like this. There's a lot of things that go into it. But in the end, when I say it's the owner's fault, I don't mean that in like
This dog
a mean way or to say, to just put blame on them. I mean that they've taught this dog and, knowingly or unknowingly, to become like this. This dog is a result of their training and their lifestyle. And their training, whether they realize they're training or not, their lifestyle is training and teaching the dog.
has, you're going to hear the original audio in a few minutes. This dog has genetic problems from the parents.
Okay.
This dog was bred in a barn near a house, but not in a house. Okay. Then they got the dog. Vets tell you what, don't let the dog walk around for 4 months, sometimes 6 months till they get rabies. They tell you all this bad information.
Well, a lot of times they tell you don't let them walk around in public areas, in public grass, and public soil to prevent them from getting parvo. That doesn't mean that you cannot socialize your dog during those times. Just don't let them be on the ground in public areas until they are, I believe 16 weeks old is when they finish their parvo vaccine. That's a long time, but you can still carry this dog in a backpack. You can carry them in a little stroller, in a little wagon. You can still socialize your dog. People do it all the time. From Doggy U or Dog U, I think it's Doggy U. She is a service animal trainer, and she trains guide dogs and all sorts of great awesome behavior in her puppies, and she socializes them very early in public settings before they finish their vaccinations, because she has them in little wagons. So those are options that you can do.
So then people don't get the dog out. Oh, now I got the dog out 6 months old, 4 months old, and the dog's freaking out, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know where to go. So then they make the dog's world smaller in the apartment, in the house. Then they bring the dog to me. This dog's a year, and the dog has this problem. Okay, some dogs don't. Some dogs can have all those things, and it comes out a happy-go-lucky dog. And some dogs don't, because their brain is different. And this dog's brain is different, and we go big with this. I wanted to bring this dog up to the most stimulated it can be to make up for lost time, because we have to make up for lost time with.
No, you don't. So he is just flooding the dog, showing his ignorance and his inability to train appropriately. It shows his lack of understanding of how to actually work with an animal in an appropriate way.
Outletting the dog. The
He's
dog's
just
over
flooding the dog.
threshold. Oh God, the dog's over threshold. That's such a horrible thing. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because the dog is not learning in this situation. They don't need to bring the dog to Beckman. Beckman realistically should come to them, because by them bringing this dog to Beckman, the dog's not going to learn anything other than negative reinforcement, positive punishment, and which means that positive punishment doesn't sound, I mean, it's not something nice. It's adding something the dog finds punishing as a correction. So the dog is going to come here, be flooded, and they will not be fixed when they go home. I would bet you $100 on that.
The force-free folks that talk about over threshold, let's see the video of them doing anything with this dog. Okay, them doing anything bold.
Hey, I will offer free help to this couple if they are still having issues, which I'm sure they will after working with you, because you will do absolutely nothing other than just make the dog worse by flooding them in this environment until they no longer they develop learned helplessness, and they no longer show the outward emotion of fear. I will work with these people for free.
With this dog. It doesn't exist. I'm doing the handshake method. You've seen that before.
The dog doesn't care.
I'm trying all different stuff. Okay, shake my hand. Let's see if it helps. Nope, dog actually gets worse on the handshake. Trying to bite me. Okay? This dog's brain is not right. It just isn't right. So we got to go big. Without going over a certain line, we got to go big. You're going to see it. You're going to hear me explain it in this video. Okay? Can't be scared. Prince can't be scared. I can't move.
You don't need Prince in this instance. This dog doesn't care about Prince. It doesn't care about other dogs. It doesn't care about anything. It's so over threshold. It is not learning anything. This dog is not going to learn diddly squat because it's over threshold. You're flooding the dog even right now. What I would do, because everybody always asks what I would do, but they never listen to the video to hear what I would actually do. This video is not for them. It's for the people who want to know and learn. What I would do is, if I would be, I would go to the person's home, and I would be just sitting in the room, and the dog can be barking at me and doing whatever. I do this all the time, and I have dogs that bark at me nonstop the entire lesson until we're deaf and blue in the face. I would just toss a treat towards the dog, and I would walk away from the dog. And I would toss another treat in the direction of the dog, and I would walk away. And I would just do that at first. This might take a couple of sessions. Yes, it might take a couple of sessions. It doesn't mean that I'm trying to bait these people into paying me thousands of dollars, because he charges, I don't know, $2,000 for maybe a 1-hour session. And people talk to me about me charging too much for an hour session. I charge a fraction of what he charges for my time. And I get better results than he does, because I don't put the dog over threshold. I don't have to touch the dog, and I don't get anywhere near what he makes. And I don't abuse the dog, and I don't overstimulate the dog, and I don't flood the dog.
You're going to see me take the dog, pull it into me to deal with the fear. Then the dog goes, oh my gosh, I was near that guy and I didn't die.
No, the dog is flooded. It's called learned helplessness.
First time ever near a person, didn't die. That's the leash pull in for fear method. That there are trainers that do it.
They are idiotic. They are dangerous. I don't recommend you listen to them. It is flooding. But go listen and do whatever you want to.
Effective. You never see me do it. I don't do it that much. I'm not in love with the method, but I like the method for severe cases. A case where a fearful dog will never given time, never come and touch a person. They have to learn.
They absolutely will. Never say never. Don't use absolutes. A dog, I've had many dogs that were fearful, that were feral, that had been grown up on the streets, that were in a foster's home, that would come up to me. I've had dogs that were, in the shelter that I worked at, that were just lived in the backyard, and they just, drug out bags of dog food and poured it on the ground for them, and that was that, and they were terrified. If you sneezed, they would run out of the room, and they were cuddle bugs. And I got them used to leashes, and plenty of other volunteers got them so comfortable that all of them, which we weren't sure if they were going to get a home or not, all of them got a home. I have a video on my channel working with fearful shelter dogs.
They can touch a person, and nothing bad will happen to them. But you have to pull them in. You're going to see this.
You don't have to pull them in. That's just idiotic.
About why that works, and now you're going to hear the.
You do not have to put any dog on its side. That does not work. It is developing learned helplessness, and it is flooding the animal. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I've heard a lot of dumb things, especially from this guy.
Summarize the problem to the owner.
He's got a lot of fear. He also, I believe, has some genetic. It's partly genetic. It's just so bad. You meet the mom and dad?
Yes.
Yes.
Mom was very much like him.
All right. Yeah. So there we go, right? So that's what you guys
That makes sense.
Okay. So what we're going to do today is our number one goal is to expose this guy to stuff. We can make a big difference in an hour. What I want to do today with this dog is I want to shake his world up.
No, I don't recommend you do that. That's just a dumb way to do it. It really is, honestly. It is just I can't think of another word other than just, it's not a good idea. It's a dumb idea. It's not a good method.
Like apartment, mom, dad, Pete, like we're still in a window where if we do a lot of desensitization and socialization.
And 1 hour? You need more than that. You have desensitization and time for that for the life of the dog. You don't just do it in an hour and the dog is cured and the dog is fixed.
Can still have an effect on his brain. So he's a little over a year. So we have about a few months.
I've always read that you have until they're about 2.5 to 3 years to really change a dog's personality before they start to mature. So not a few months after over a year. I believe 2.5 to 3 years.
To do this. And then once he's a year and a half, I'm not saying we can't change him, but you can't like really change him easily.
Good. So I would mark
Once
that
your dog is a
behavior.
year and a half, it's essentially an adult dog. Becomes much harder to change things.
Again, I disagree. I think it's 2.5.
All right, how does he look with Prince?
It doesn't matter how he looks with Prince. Prince is not a good demo dog.
Is he fearful? Yes. True fear is running away in the corner. Now, this may be a best defense is a good offense. Yeah, that I obviously we know that fear can manifest itself in running at a dog. But true fear, and this is where people get it wrong, and people feel bad for the dog, and people think everything is fear. True fear is over in the corner. Oh.
According to him, this is fear. This is overstimulation. Fear is running away. Shut down. That's being shut down. That's not true fear. I mean, we could call it whatever you want to. You can call it, true fear is being shut down. That doesn't mean that this fear and this response is any less or should be taken any less seriously.
Away from Prince. Okay? This is a mix. This isn't true fear.
It doesn't matter if it's true fear or not. The dog is experiencing fear and discomfort.
Young to learn the best defense is a good offense. This dog, in part, wants to run up to Prince and bite Prince. In part, this dog wants
not
to
necessarily.
Run away. In part, this dog wants to dominate Prince.
No, I don't think this dog wants to dominate him at all. I think Prince wants to dominate the little dog because you taught him to be a bully and dominate everything.
In part, this dog's brain is just saying, I don't know what to do right now. Part of him wants to meet Prince, and you're going to see him smell Prince. Given all of those things right there, tries to smell or gives an air smell. His hair's up. Given all of these things, what's the one method that is the best? There is not one method because
Positive reinforcement is the best method. I don't care what you say. Positive reinforcement is the best method, and the only method, in my opinion, to use, especially on fearful, reactive, or aggressive dogs.
there is not one thing going on. So I'm going to do it the natural way. When all else
You're not a dog. The dog does not see you as a dog. Dogs don't naturally. There's nothing natural about a dog. A dog has been. I mean, dogs have their own body language and whatnot, but there's nature, and then there's being a dog that is a bully. If a dog is raised with other dogs, then that's natural. But if a dog has been raised by humans, that's not natural. They have learned to be a human. They have learned to either be fearful, be aggressive, be a bully, or be a well-balanced dog. A dog pinning a dog down on the side, a dog grabbing a dog with their hands and bringing it towards them is not natural.
fails, do it the natural way. And the natural way is say, okay,
And you haven't even tried it the positive reinforcement way because you don't know how to, or you don't care to, because you're too lazy to, or you're just too ignorant. You say when all else has failed. Yeah, it failed. You haven't even tried anything. You just go straight to negative reinforcement and positive punishment.
run up on a dog, how about we let that nice dog go and you deal with it?
That's bullshit.
Right? We are behind the 8 ball at this point with this dog. Almost a little nip and then a smell. We're behind the 8 ball already. We got to go big.
No, you
can't mess
don't. You're just an
around.
idiot.
The force-free trainer, the e-collar trainer, it's not the way to go with it.
You're an idiot. Yes, the force-free trainer is the way to go. Thank you for saying force-free and not purely positive. The shock collar trainer, absolutely not. The force-free trainer is the only way to go, in my opinion. Yes, I'm biased. I know. And it's scientifically proven it's the best way to get results with animals, no matter what behavior you're working on.
We got to go big and we got to go natural. Okay.
No, you don't. There's nothing natural about this.
Want to kind of pick a fight? We're going to let the bigger dog go and you might get cornered. And you might be over threshold and you might be super stimulated. Yeah, we're making up for lost time of lack of stimulation in your...
No, he's saying lack of punishment, lack of correction, lack of my control and my dominance and my, me. Ego. It's all about ego with this guy.
life. We're bringing this dog up to this point so that we make up for the lack of seeing things, smelling things.
We're not ready for that at this point.
Desensitizing to things because we got time to make up for. And I don't want to be
a big cut. How did they get them there?
Come every week, pay me money every week, go broke like they would with some trainers for tiny things. We need big improvement.
Dude, just stop. They're going to go broke paying you $2,000 for an hour.
So we need 30% better at the end of a 1-hour session. Then the next session,
that's called flooding.
To be 30% after that. Then 30% after that. Then we're.
I would call Prince away.
Okay.
Because now Prince is not helping.
Yeah, I don't know.
Prince is making it worse. This dog, he's making the dog worse. Beckman makes dogs worse.
You want to go nip a dog, you're going to get overwhelmed. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
He was fine before until Prince tried to play with him, and now he's telling him to back off, and Prince isn't listening.
Good for him.
It's not good for him. You're an idiot.
It's good for him.
No, it's not.
I know maybe some people look at this and don't understand why it's good for this.
No, because other people who look at this, a lot of people will look at this and say, you're an idiot. A lot of people will look at this and say, you're blind. That you're blind and deaf, and in the world of the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. And because Beckman wants to see it a certain way with his rose-colored glasses and his filters, he wants to see that his dog can do no wrong and that he can do no wrong. This is just dangerous.
Dog, but that's because you don't understand serious problems in dogs, and
neither do you. They understand better than you do.
What I'm trying to do as a trainer and what these people...
You're not a trainer. You're just some dummy who gets paid to work with dogs and make them worse.
The dog training industry is a joke.
It is, because there's no certification, and I guarantee you would fail. You would fail if there's any certification that actually has legality to it, that actually has any merit to it. Where if you are required to pass a pass as a force-free trainer, or you're able to pass as a trainer that doesn't use this nonsense, if there's any regulation, you will fail.
We need big answers. We're going to original audio.
Why do you think I let that happen?
Shock his system, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
Shock his system.
That's just stupid. That is so stupid and dangerous. And unprofessional, in my opinion. You don't shock an animal's system. It doesn't do anything. It makes them worse. I know, because I retrain dogs that Beckman would be training, or people like Beckman train. I've never retrained a dog that Beckman has specifically trained because I live in a different state than him.
That's exactly right, bro. This guy needs big answers. We need big answers.
Yeah.
No,
wanna
you
go
don't.
Soft and you want to go small? It's never gonna happen.
Yes, it will. You don't know what you're talking about.
We haven't heard a bark since then. I'm not saying we're not gonna hear another one.
Since what? Since when Prince was flooding the dog and not listening to him, and then Prince left and ran away? That doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean it's anything.
I wanted this guy's brain in a controlled way. That was very.
See, when Prince moves away and he's not trying to face the other dog, the dog wants to follow Prince.
Natural thing that just happened. He chased the dog.
That's not natural. Prince was not reading. If it was natural, Prince would leave this dog alone, because the dog was telling him, leave me alone. Prince didn't read it. That's not natural. Prince ignored his calming signals and him screaming to leave him alone. And he still wants to say that's natural.
The dog chased him. The dog backed his little butt up. Then he gave a little nip to the dog. Dog got kind of mad at him. The other dog got a little more
Okay, so
mad
now he's
after the
teaching
nip.
the owners
And
how to
this
side
guy's
submit the
making
dog.
every dog go nuts, bite people. Yeah, you should question life a little bit.
So now you're going to see the dog get put on his side for continually trying to. This dog isn't protecting his owners, okay? This dog is being really uncool to another nice dog. So
He could be doing that because Prince is by his people. He said, oh God, he's teaching him how to side submit. Don't ever do this. I mean, do whatever you want, but I don't ever recommend doing this. And it's way too late after the fact. I think the dog was being protective of his people. That's my opinion. I'm not going to say that that's the only opinion. Beckman acts like, no, it's not. No, he wasn't protecting his family. So it's okay for me. So therefore, it's okay for me to be abusive. And yes, this is abuse. And teach the owners to be as abusive and stupid as I am, to put the dog on its side.
he's going to get put on his side right here. It is not meant as a punishment. It's meant to
Yes, it is. That's exactly why you do it.
calm his little brain down.
No, the dog is going to see it as a punishment. Look at how forceful they have to be to get him on his side. Look at how forceful. Look at how much force they're
using.
using.
Why to do this. Sometimes these dogs, when they get spun
Look at
out,
that
they
grip.
have to have
Look
their
at how
brain calm
tight
down.
he is pushing on this dog. The
could
dog
take
can
the-
barely breathe.
Dog away, put it on a leash. We could do all that. This is as good or better of a way.
No, it is not. Absolutely not.
And why to do this? Sometimes these dogs, when they get spun out, they have to have their brain calm down.
That is... The way to calm their brain down is remove them from the area. Remove them from the scenario. Not by side submitting them, because this doesn't do anything other than teach the dog to be more fearful of their people. You make dogs worse, Beckman. You make them worse.
We could take the dog away, put it on a leash. We could do all that. This is as good or better of a way.
No, it is not.
And an easier way. Okay?
No, it's not. Who cares if it's easier? You do it the tougher way. Too bad. Get over yourself. You're not entitled to quick and easy results. I can give you quick and easy results that don't have to harm or scare or injure the animal. That's not abusive. But you're not entitled to any... When you do it the easy way, that's the cheap way. Doing it on the dog's time takes effort. It's a process, not an event.
So now you're going to hear me explain how to do this, because there's a very specific way on how to put your dog on their side.
Don't explain any of that.
Brain that is not totally right now. Okay? So we brought another dog in. I don't really care.
You ever look at someone and think, how do they handle everything so well? Why don't things seem to affect them in the same
Really care that it was a gentle leader or a head harness type of situation. And then the dog gets on a walk and is a little less than it was before this, because he had only met, I think, one other dog in his life, and every other dog he freaked out on. So you got to meet dogs. It's not rocket science.
No, you don't have to meet dogs. You don't have to go meet dogs. I just teach dogs to be tolerant of other dogs. They don't have to meet them or be friends. So now he has the dog on a head halter. Lovely. How long did it take?
care.
How did he trap this dog to get the head halter on?
That it was a gentle leader or a head harness type of situation.
Ouch.
We just had to get off of the collar. Think of how much bad rehearsal of the wrong behavior had been done over the last 10 months on the normal collar. Dogs learn.
Ouch.
If the gentle leader doesn't work, switch it off the gentle leader. If the dog's bad on a gentle leader for a year, you got to get off the gentle leader. Pathways in the brain are formed, and they know how to fight against the tool. You want to sit there and bark at me, the guy who's been around you for 50 minutes at this point, and
Dragging the
done nothing
dog
mean
to
you?
him.
Now it's a bit of a correction to have to be near me.
Ouch.
But then it changes
Ouch.
right now. It changes
Ouch.
to
Ow,
the
ow,
dog
ow,
saying,
ow.
me realizing
Ow.
that
Flooding the
has
dog.
never
Ow,
chosen
ow.
to be near a random
Shut
person.
down.
So we have to build.
So
those
now you're
pathways
making it a correction to be near you. You're an idiot.
in
God,
the
you are
brain
so
that there's
dangerous.
A first in this dog's
You spread such dangerous information.
life.
Ouch.
It's
Ouch.
touching my knee. I pet the dog. It touches me.
It doesn't care that you pet them. They don't care. He doesn't care that you're petting him.
It lays down, and the dog at the end of it goes,
Ow,
"Oh,
ow,
I was
ow,
okay.
ow.
I didn't die."
No, he's flooded. He says, okay, just take me. Take me now. I'm just going to die. I can't get away. So I'm just going to lay down and accept my fate.
Because if they never do it, they won't realize they won't die. They have to.
No, they don't have to do it to realize they won't die. If you do it the proper way would be letting the dog come to you. And then they realize, oh, I don't die. In fact, I get good stuff. This is flooding, making the dog feel like they're going to die, so they give up.
Times, and you haven't seen this on my channel a lot
This poor
because
thing.
I don't do it a lot. Sometimes the dog just
So the
needs-
dog gets so nervous and shut down, they move into pressure. They don't feel happy to be around him. They're moving into pressure because it makes them feel
learn
more
it's not gonna be
comfortable.
hurt- needs to be put in the position.
Petting doesn't help.
Learn it won't be hurt.
See?
And then the pathways are formed
There was a cut there. How long have you been doing this with this
in
dog?
that way.
See, the
So it's a
petting
little
makes
bit
it
better.
worse.
It's got firsts. There was tons of firsts today. First time being put on side. First time on a gentle leader. First time being touched by a random person. First time seeing a dog off leash. First time kind of playing with the dog. First time
I don't care if my dog is reactive to a dog off leash. I would actually expect them to be, because the dog off leash is, chances are they're not supposed to be off leash and they are out of control. And chances are that off leash dog will cause a problem with my leashed dog. I want my dog to be able to tolerate leashed dogs, but off leash dogs, I will take care of them, because that off leash dog is not coming anywhere near me or my dog. And I will scare the crap out of them if I have to keep them away from my leash dog, to keep them safe.
dog backing it up first for a, and now we're going to original audio and then the end of the
He
video.
will never choose to be near somebody like that, to be touched, to be touching them. He'll never choose to do it.
He would if you did it right. He absolutely would if you did it right. Okay, I'm just going to end that video here. I've been going long enough. Thank you for watching. Hope you all got something from this video. Let me know what you think of it. Go say howdy do to your critters. Say howdy do for me. Give them some kind of love and they appreciate. Until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.